this is the syllabus of Unit 3. So I think we completed Unit 3 functions except anonymous function. So in that, in the function topic, we have only the balances, anonymous functions that will complete right now, and the modules and Python packages in this session. Okay, so now we'll start our session.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then functions continuation. So coming to anonymous functions. So I think we are aware of a single code data. That means which contains a small piece of code is called an anonymous function. A small piece of code is called an anonymous functions. Generally, these are available in C and C++. In C++, exactly, they are called as inline functions. So we are telling that it is a function. So you may aware of that we have to declare the function with a def keyword, right? So in anonymous function, there is no need to declare with a def keyword. So in this, we use a keyword called lambda. I think this has been explained in keyword section, lambda keyword. So I'm starting. So anonymous function, which contains a small piece of code, which is similar to the C and C++, which is exactly as inline functions. So it is not declared with a keyword called def. Then what is the keyword we use to declare a function is lambda. So in order to declare a function as an anonymous function, we use a lambda keyword. So we'll go with the syntax. How a function, a lambda function is being declared. We'll go with a syntax. So first thing is lambda keyword, the arguments list, colon, expression. I repeat, the syntax is lambda, arguments list, colon, expression. So
నోట్స్ రాసుకోమంటారా?
సారీ,
నోట్స్ రాసుకోమంటారా?
నోట్స్ కన్నా వింటే బెస్ట్ ఏమో. నేను డైరెక్ట్ గా మీకు పీపీటీ సప్లై చేస్తానండి. ఓకేనా? Okay then. So syntax is lambda, arguments list, colon, expression. Here lambda is a keyword and the arguments list, we can pass more than one argument, and the expression. What is an expression that we already covered in C? That we'll see what balance is. So in Python, the anonymous function is also called as lambda expression. Lambda expression. So which is defined with a name, without a name. So this is a function, so we think that it has a name. So in Python, anonymous functions without a name, it is defined. So we'll see what it is. So this lambda expression is also called as lambda function. Lambda function. So we'll see what it is with a small example. So I think this is the syntax, right? Lambda, arguments list, colon, expression. Here lambda is a keyword, arguments list. We can take any number of arguments. That depends upon the situation that what we are taking, and the expression. So, but the expression should be only one. But the expression should be only one, and the result of that particular expression is returned as a return value. I think the function will have a return value, right? In the same way, lambda function is also returns a single value. So that we'll see. So with a small example. So I am taking a small snippet of code. So this is so I am defining a square method which is taking an argument number. So this function, which is in a box, square function, what does it does? Whatever the number that we give, it will be square. For example, if we are given 5 number, the square of 5 is 25. So I think the code snippet is understood. The same function is returned in lambda using lambda function by using a single line. We'll see what it is. So I am inputting a number in the same way that what we have seen in the snippet. So square of number, whatever the number that what we have given here. So our intention is to find out the square of a given number. So square, I am calling a function called square, and I'm passing a argument called num. So square is equal to, so already I have given the syntax that lambda arguments list colon expression. So, and we also thought that it has to return a value. Lambda function has to return a value. So the lambda function will be calculated the square of a given value, and that value will be returned to a variable called square, and that particular square value will be printed in the print statement. So enter a number. I have entered a number called 5. So square of 5 is equal to 25 is the value. So coming to here, lambda is a keyword where num. So whatever we are passing while calling a square function num, is that the variable here, that what we have squared. So that is called the argument. And coming to num double star 2 exponent value, so that is the expression. So lambda, which is a keyword, num, which is an argument, and num double star 2 is an expression. Now moving to the next example. So I already told you that the lambda function will take more than one argument. So that is why in the syntax I have given that arguments list. So how to pass more than one argument to the lambda function? Now we'll see that one. So that is why I have given the example name as multiple arguments to lambda function. So I am giving a print statement, sum is equal to, and I'm calling the lambda function x. So with 3 arguments, 20, 10, and 5. Here x is the lambda function calling. So we have to define the lambda function now. So for that I have defined the lambda function x is equal to lambda, which is a keyword, a comma b comma c. Whatever the values 20 comma 10 comma 5 that I am passing to the lambda function, that arguments will be a, b, c. And the expression is to evaluate a plus b plus c. And this total sum value will be returned from the lambda function to a variable called x, and that value will be printed. Sum is equal to 35. Is that clear? So in that, lambda is a keyword, and a comma b comma c are the arguments list, and a plus b plus c is the expression. This is by using lambda function. If the same code is been written in normal functions, that will be like this. So we have given a print statement, sum is equal to, and I'm calling a function with a name called x, and I'm passing the arguments which are 3, 20, 10, and 5. For that I'm defining a function called df x of abc, and I'm asking you to return a plus b plus c, so that the sum value will be returned to the print statement and this value will be printed. Yes. So that's all with that particular example. So some important point has to be remembered while we are using lambda function. So that will be taught now. So this is the syntax: lambda arguments list colon expression. So what are the points to be remembered? that we'll see. So here lambda is a keyword, and that should be used to create the lambda expression. Use it to create lambda expression. So in order to know that is a lambda function, so we have to specify that with a keyword called lambda. So that is the first point. The keyword lambda is used to create lambda expression. So and we must be careful that the expression should contain only one expression which has to be evaluated, and the value should be returned. So we have to clear with this expression. So only one expression should be evaluated, and we have to call the lambda function with a variable. We have to call the lambda expression with a variable, the name of a variable which is the lambda expression has assigned. We have to call the lambda function with a value that it has been returned to the variable, and that lambda expression has been assigned. Next, and we are thinking that it is a function, so the function has to return a value, so we may use return statement. But in lambda function we need not to use any return statement, so automatically the expression that is being evaluated, that value will be returned from the lambda function. So that is another point that we have to be remembered. So the lambda expression does not use the keyword return, in which it is automatically returned from the result of the expression. So where to use this lambda function? So we can use this lambda expression anywhere in a function in which we are expecting. So in the previous example, I have been assigned with a lambda function with a variable called x, that is x is equal to lambda a comma b comma c colon a plus b plus c. In that I am assigning the result of that particular expression a plus b plus c to a variable called x. So every time there is no need to use a variable. So where to use? So always we do not have to assign it to a variable is the most important point. So keep it in mind, the last 2 points I will be repeating the same in the next slide. So for clarity, so I will be seeing with another example. So my task is to print a table. My task is to print a table. So for printing a table, we need a number to which table that we are printing. So for that, I'm asking the user to enter the number. The entered number is assigned to a variable called n. So I'm calling a function called table. I'm calling a function called normal function. It is a normal function table. So in which I am passing a argument called n. So I have to define a table. So now I am defining the table, and I am also passing the argument is n. So in the return statement, we can also give the expression. So instead of expression, I am giving the lambda function. Instead of expression in the return statement, I am giving a lambda function or a lambda expression to evaluate. So whenever the table of n is been called, the cursor will move to the function that is table, and it is been waiting because lambda needs another variable that is called a. Lambda function needs a variable a value to evaluate with the variable n. So what happens? Whenever the cursor goes to the table function, it executes the return statement and it will be waiting. What for? For the variable a. So, and then it will be moved to the next statement of the function call. So for I equal to in range of 1 to 6. In range of 1 to 6. So what it is, here I am printing the table. So where n is the given value, let it be 5. into where I is 1, 5 into 1 is equal to, so here b of I is a lambda function. Here b of I is a lambda function. Whenever the cursor is at b, that is in the print statement, so the lambda function will be executed. The lambda function will be executed. So I repeat, మా ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ చెప్తున్నానండి, టేబుల్ ఎప్పుడైతే మనం టేబుల్ అనే ఫంక్షన్ ని మనం కాల్ చేస్తున్నామో, యాక్చువల్ గా దిస్ హ్యాస్ టు బి మూవ్ ది కర్సర్ టు ది డెఫినేషన్ ఆఫ్ ది టేబుల్. సో టేబుల్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. బట్ రిటర్న్ స్టేట్మెంట్ లో మనకి ఏ అనే వేరియబుల్ యొక్క వాల్యూ కావాలి. దెన్ హౌ ఇట్ గెట్స్ ది వాల్యూ. సో ఆ రీజన్ కోసం అక్కడ హోల్డ్ లో పెట్టి కర్సర్ ని నెక్స్ట్ స్టేట్మెంట్, టేబుల్ కింద ఉన్న నెక్స్ట్ స్టేట్మెంట్ కి ఆటోమేటిక్ గా కర్సర్ వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. సో అక్కడ నెక్స్ట్ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఏమున్నాయి, మనకి ఒక ఫర్ లూప్ ఉంది. సో టు ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ ఫ్రమ్ 1 to 5. సో ద ప్రింట్ స్టేట్మెంట్ విల్ బి ఎగ్జిక్యూటెడ్ అండ్ ఇన్ ది ప్రింట్ స్టేట్మెంట్ టు కాల్ ది లాంబ్డా ఫంక్షన్, బికాస్ ప్రీవియస్ గా మనం ఎక్కడైతే హోల్డ్ చేసామో ఒక వేరియబుల్ కోసం, ఆ వేరియబుల్ కోసం ఇప్పుడు ఆ వేరియబుల్ ఇక్కడ బి ఆఫ్ ఐ నుంచి పంపిస్తున్నామండి. బి ఆఫ్ ఐ. సో ఆల్రెడీ ఎన్ అనే వాల్యూ టేబుల్ కి వెళ్ళిపోయింది అండ్ ఐ అనే వాల్యూ, బికాస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఏ లూప్ వేరియబుల్. సో వేర్ ఏ ఇస్ ది లూప్ వేరియబుల్, ఎన్ ఈస్ ది గివెన్ ఎంటర్డ్ నెంబర్. Given entered number. So see here I have given a statement called B will contain a lambda function which is called again and again with the iteration variable I. With the iteration variable I, and the lambda function B is called with the iteration variable I, and A will contain the iteration variable, and A will contain the iteration variable I and a multiple of n, and it is returned from each function call. So the output will be like this. The output will be like this. Students, if you have any doubts, please ask me at the end of the class. So I will be explaining it again. Okay. Or shall I repeat it again now? Okay, then I will be explaining the same thing again. So our task is to print the table. So I have to enter a number that is been entered. So now the table is a function which I am defining, user defined function, and I am passing the argument n. So the cursor will move to the definition section of the table with this argument, and in the table function I am returning an expression that is a lambda expression. So in order to execute the lambda expression, I need a value called a. So the execution will be stopped there and it continues with the next statement after the table. So the for loop will be executed from 1 to 6. So the print statement I have been given. So when the lambda function is been called, whenever the b of I is been called, so the lambda function will be executed. Whenever the b of I, the loop variable I is been called with a lambda function b, so with that the lambda function will be executed in the table function. So for that I have given a comment. B will contain a lambda function which is called again and again with the iteration variable I, whereas the lambda function B is called with the iteration variable I, and A will contain the iteration variable I, and a multiple of n is returned at each function call. So the output will be like this. So now I'm moving to the next one. So some important note points. So the lambda expression generally is used with some built-in functions called map, filter, and reduce. Map, filter, and reduce. So These are map, filter, reduce is are also with the built-in functions, which are very useful for our projects. So we'll see that one also now. So another note point is always a lambda expression need not to be assigned with a variable, that we already discussed in points to remember. All these built-in functions does not have to be assigned to a variable. That is another note point that we have to make a note. So already I have given the note point that the lambda expressions are used with built-in functions called like map, filter, and reduce. So we'll see how the lambda function is being used with the map, filter, and reduce. So now we'll check with the map. So generally this map function is used to specify the function for each item in a iterable. For each executes a specified function for each item in a iterable. So already we know about iterables. I think the iterables are nothing but the sequence of items. The sequences that what we have are list, tuple, dictionaries, sets, all these called as iterables. So for this map to execute, we need to pass each and every iterable. So we'll see what it is. The item is sent to the function as parameter. So this iterable is nothing but a sequence of items, and each item is passed as a syntax map function comma iterable. Already we know about iterable, that is a list, tuple, dictionaries, and we'll see what the function is. So in this we have two arguments function. Argument one is function, which is required to execute for each item, and the iterable, which is a sequence, that is a collection or a sequence of items. So please make a note, we can send as many as iterables as you like, but just make sure that the function has only one parameter for each iterable. So the argument 2 is an iterable, so we can pass more than one iterable at a time. That is more than one list has to be passed. So we can pass more than one list as an iterable, but together has to be passed as a single argument. That we'll see in the next example what how it is has to be done. So I will go with an example. So this is the syntax. So in this, the first argument is function. So instead of function, I'm using it as a lambda function. Instead of defining a function, I would like to define the lambda function. And whereas coming to the iterables, list, tuple, and dictionaries. So how to use this lambda function with map is a big question. So I already told you that lambda is also called as function, anonymous function. So how to use this lambda function with map function? So now we would like to tell that. So our task, we will see with an example. Our task is to triple the given list of items. That is, I have taken a list of items. Let it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 123, and 22. My target is to triple. That is 3 times the given list items. For example, the first item is 1, that is multiplied with 3. And the second item is 2, that is multiplied with 3. And the third item is 3, and that is multiplied 3. So like that, we'll see each and every item in the list. So we'll see the list data first. So print list data. So the list data is like this. So we are using the map function. Map. So with the function, I am passing the lambda function, that is triple. Here triple is a variable that is assigned with a value of lambda function return value. Here triple is a lambda function name, which is a variable assigned with a value that is returned by the lambda function. And list is the iterable that we are passing as an argument, as a second argument. So triple is a lambda function, so I have defined that it is. So where lambda is a keyword, x is an argument, colon x into 3. Here we are passing list each and every list item individually to the lambda function. So I am typecasting the given map, the obtained, because the return value has to be the 3 times the given list items. So for that, we are assigning that to a variable called new list, and I am printing the new list. The output will be like this. I repeat. So we are using the map function, in which we are using the lambda function also, which is a triple. So each and every item from the list is been passed as an argument with the lambda function triple. So first the 1 will be passed to the triple lambda function. So 1 into 3. So that value will be x, that is 3, and that 3 will be assigned to a variable called triple, and again the next list item will be called, that is 2. So 2 into 3, 6, and 6 is assigned to a variable called x, and that x will be stored in again the list. So that is a new list that I have given typecasted with. So now we are printing the typecasted, that is a new list, the triple list. The output will be like this. If the same thing, I ask you to make a note that we can pass more than one parameter for each iterable. So we'll see that one now. So the given syntax is map function iterable. Here iterables should be only one argument, but we are supposed to pass more than one argument, that we'll see here. Here now I am using the function as a general function. Previous slide I have used it as a lambda function, but now I'm using it as a general function. So iterables that we already know, that is a list, tuples, like that. So example, map of example x is equal to map of. So in this map we have to pass two arguments, that is function and iterable. So my function is a general function, and here we are using tuples, iterables as tuples, two tuples. So apple, banana together as one tuple, orange and lemon and together as another tuple. So both the two tuples as one single argument that we are passing it to the iterables argument. So when here we have to define now my function, that is a general function. So whenever the map x equal to map of my function is being executed, so my function will be called. So for that map function, my function, we have to pass two arguments, that is one item from one tuple, another item from another tuple, that is apple, orange together we are passing it as a and b to my function. So in my function we are concatenating, because apple and orange are two or strings, so we are concatenating with an operator called plus. So our task is to concatenate the each item in both the tuples, that is apple, orange together as one item, banana and lemon as together as one item. So the return value will be printed like this. So I am printing the x value, so it is printing the map object. So for what it is, we'll see. So print list, because we are typecasting x as list, so that the given x will be converted into the list items, because x is an object, map object. So that is why it is printing the object. Directly we are printing the map object. So it is giving the hexadecimal address. So if I typecasted with a list, so the actual value has been printed. In the previous slide, I have directly typecasted the map with the list, but here I did not done like this. So whenever we would like to get the values from the map, definitely it has to be typecasted with the resultant value that what we need. ఎప్పుడైతే మనకి మ్యాప్ ఫంక్షన్ కానీ వాడుతున్నామో వాడినప్పుడు కంపల్సరీగా ఏదైతే రిజల్టెంట్ వాల్యూ మనకు రావాలనుకుంటున్నామో ఆ రిజల్టెంట్ వాల్యూ యొక్క టైప్ కాస్టింగ్ జరగాల్సిందే. టైప్ కాస్టింగ్ కనుక జరగకపోతే x value will be an object value. So that is why I have given print of x, and again I am typecasting the x with a list. So that is why the actual value has been printed. So that's all with this map. So convert this, see, convert the map into a list for readability. That is why I have typecasted the x with a list. So now we'll see filter. What does the filter? It is similar to the map function, but in the name itself it suggests that it is filtering some values. So what we have to filter? Whatever the function that we are calling, to that we are passing an iterable. So that is why we have given here, it returns an iterator where the items are filtered through a test, through a function to test if the item is accepted or not. So that will be seen with the best example. So the syntax is filter function comma iterable. Here also we are using two arguments, function and iterables. The argument one is function which is used to run for each item in the iterable. Each item in the iterable similar to map function. The iterables, the argument 2 is the iterables, which is a sequence collection which has to be filtered. So we'll see with an example. The given syntax is filter function comma iterables. Here the function I am using it as lambda function because we would like to use filter with lambda function. So we are using here the function as lambda function and iterable as list, tuples and dictionaries. So example, use of lambda function with filter, how it is being used with the filter is used with the lambda function. We'll see an example. So filter the given list items to form even list. So now I would like to pass a list of items and I would like to filter the list, the given list, to form even list. So ఒక లిస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఐటమ్స్ నేను పాస్ చేస్తున్నానండి. మై టార్గెట్ ఈస్ టు ఫిల్టర్ ద ఈవెన్ వాల్యూస్ ఫ్రమ్ ద గివెన్ లిస్ట్. సో గివెన్ లిస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఐటమ్స్, that is 1 2 3 4 10 123 and 22. I think in these we have the even values, that is 2 4 10 and 22. My target is to filter these values 2 4 10 22 from the given list. That is our motto. So I'm taking a list and then I'm printing that particular list. So I'm using the filter. It is filter. So for that we are passing two functions. One is a lambda function, that is a even list, and then iterable, that is list. So even list, because even list is a lambda function, so we have to define with that with a lambda keyword. So lambda is a keyword where num is a value of an item in the list. So each item that from the list is been passed to the even list. So num is an argument and num modulus 2 equal to 0. Num modulus 2 equal to 0 is the expression to check whether the particular given item is even or not. If it is an even, that will be stored in the argument called event list, in a variable called even list. So that is filtered. So now I am typecasting with a list. My target is to get the even list. So I am typecasting the given filter function with the list. So the list item has to be stored in a new list. Therefore, so I am assigning the obtained list to a new list. I am printing the new list. So the obtained value is 2, 4, 10 and 22. So from the given list, I have filtered the even list. This is our motto. The expression is num modulus 2 equal to 0 is the expression which is evaluated to check whether the given item is even or not. So that's all with the lambda function usage with the filter. So we'll see Another example, that is a normal general function usage with the filter. Here the function that we are using is a general function, and the triple is list tuple dictionaries, but whatever we need we can take it. So I am taking the same example, but I am taking it as a general function to print list data. So output will be like this. So now I'm filtering even list. Hello. Hello. Okay then. So the list of data will be printed like this. So I'm using with a filter function, and I'm passing a general even list function and the list. So even list general, so it is defined with a keyword called def. So return. In the return statement, I have given an expression to evaluate. So whatever the expression is been evaluated, that value will be returned, and that value will be stored in the new list. So that new list will be printed like this, because I did not give it any typecasting here in the filter with the filter. So the object value is printed. So in the next print statement, I am giving another typecasting with the new list. So the value will be like this. So that's all with the filter function using general function. So in this Python modules, we have the topics called creating modules, import statement, from import statement, in the namespacing. Only 3 topics. The fourth one is namespacing with the from import statements. So we have only the 3 topics, that is creating a module, import statement, and from import statement in the Python modules. So the topic is creating a module. So let's go with an introduction part with the creating module. So first of all, we have to know what is a module. What is a module? So a module is nothing but a Python file in which it has to be saved with a file extension called .py. So a module is a Python file which contains, so in that Python file, what does it contains? So in that Python file, it contains some functions, classes, variables, etc. what we need. So that file has to be saved with an extension called .py extension. So module may also contain a runnable Python code. A Python module may also contain runnable Python code. So what we have in modules, why we use modules? So whatever the related code that we have that are related to the Python file, that code is being organized in one particular module. So we organize the related code into a group which can be included in any Python application. So what does module does, which makes very easy to understand and to use. So a module is included in any Python application. How to use this module is by using an import statement. I think we are not aware of that import statement. So using an import statement, we include our modules into our Python applications. So our first question is how to create a module. So how to create a module? So we already told you that a module which contains functions, classes, variables. So in Python programming, in order to create a module, we simply define the functions which are related, the classes and variables that we would like to place in the particular module, and that particular file has to be saved with a .py extension. So to create a module, simply define the functions what we need and the classes and the variables that we want to place in the module and save the file with a .py extension. So now just let's create a module which performs some all arithmetic operations. So we'll see what that is. So I'm taking a file, general notepad file, and that particular is been saved with calc.py, which is a extension called .py, which tells that it is a Python file. So in that, I am defining all the arithmetic operators. So I am defining add method, add function, so which is accepting two arguments a comma b. So the add function is to sum the given to a comma b arguments. So it is returning a b values, a plus b value, and I'm taking another function, defining another function that is subtraction. It is also taking two arguments a comma b, and I am returning the a minus b value, and I'm also defining multiplication a comma b, and which is returning a into b value, and I'm defining another function that is division. It is accepting two arguments a comma b, and it is returning a by b, and it is returning a by b. So we have created a module. So we have created a module with the arithmetic operation, and I am saving that particular file with a calc.py with calc.py extension. So next thing is how to use it. So we know how to create a file, but how to use that particular file. So there are two ways. So one thing is by using import statement, and the second one is by using from import statement. There are two ways to use a module. One by using import statement, and the other by using from import statement. So we'll see one by one. The first one, by using import statement, how we use that particular module. So the import statement is the functionality. The import statement is the functionality of one particular module into another module. That is, it is used to import all the functionalities that what we have given in the module to our current Python file. That is, generally it is used to import all the functionality of one module into another. So that is, we are importing all the functionalities of that particular file into another Python source file. So multiple modules with a single import statement. So we are importing only one module, that is using import statement, which is wrong. We can import more than one modules at a time with a single import statement. So that will be seen in the next one. You don't worry. But how to use that? So we have a syntax called import module 1 comma module 2 comma so on up to module n. For example, if we want to import 5 modules into our particular current working Python file, so that we can give commas by separating with each module. So we'll use that particular one, or like this also we can give. There are two ways to define the syntax. One is by using separating by using a commas, or returning in one single statements each module. So now let's see with a small example. We previously have created a calc module, right? So how to import those functionalities in our current file, that we'll see now. So in order to import those functionalities, we need to specify this compulsory. So from which module we are specifying, there is a module name dot which functionality that we need to execute, and that particular function needs any arguments, so that we can give the arguments list. From the module, we have to use it as module name dot function name and the arguments list. How to use it? So we'll see with an example. So this is another Python file. Let it be arithmetic operation.py. My task is to use the calc.py module in my arithmetic operation.py file. So that is by using import statement. So see, I'm printing the sum value, that is add is equal to. So I would like, my task is to add two numbers. So add of 10 comma 5. So if you pass add of 10 comma 5 without specifying the module name, how can it import that particular add function from the calc module? So it does not know. So compulsory we have to include the module name with the functionality, that is calc dot add of 10 comma 5. So I would like to use another functionality, that is subtraction. So subtraction is equal to calc dot sub of subtraction of two arguments, because in calc we have defined the subtraction function with two arguments, and I would like to use multiplication calc dot mul of 10 comma 5, and I would like to use the division function, so calc dot div of 10 comma 5. So all these functions will be included in this file only with the import statement, that is import calc. Import calc, then the output would be like this. Say for example, calc dot add of 10 comma 5. If we did not specify calc, if we did not specify the module name, what will happen? So it throws you a name error. If you did not specify calc dot add of calc dot method name, so it will throws you a name error, that is name add is not defined, because add, subtraction, multiplication, division, all these methods are defined in calc.py, and from that particular calc.py we are using these functions. It is same like the header files that we are using in C. Excuse me. Say for example that we would like to find out the string length, we will be including the string.h header file. For example, if we want to use str upr function in strings, so we will include a string.h header file definitely. So whenever we are using those functionalities, we have to include header files in C. In the same way, if we would like to import any functionalities from a particular function, from a particular file, so we have to be imported with that particular file name, that is import calc. So we'll go with another one, import and as keywords. So as is a keyword which is used as an alias, for import module. For example, previously I have defined the module with calc. Maybe one nice person like Kartikeya will define the file name with a very big extension, that is calculating underscore all the functionalities, like that a very big name is been given to that particular file. So every time in order to use that particular whole name is very hard to use, so we are giving some alias name, same like our nicknames. We will be calling directly with our nicknames. So we are defining import as and keywords. So how to use that? See with an example. See, import calc as C. Import calc as C. Whenever a calc name is being used, we can directly replace that particular calc name with C. So the same previous example is been considered, so that it is been given like this, C dot add of 10 comma 5, because C is an alias for calc. Best example is for women in the bank accounts after the marriage, they will create an alias because their surnames will be different. In the same way, here also we can create an alias name for convenience. So instead of calc, we can directly use C. So the output would be like this. Okay, then I'll be moving to the next one. The second one is using from import statement. Using from import statement. We'll see what it is. So instead of importing whole module into the file, so Python provides some flexibility that we can import only the specific attributes from a module. Specific attributes from a module. Because in calc.py, we have defined 4 functionalities. That is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. 4 functionalities. For example, I need only one functionality use. I need only one functionality use, that is subtraction. I need not to import all the functionalities from that particular file. There is a possibility in Python that we can import only the required attribute from the given module. So how it is, that it is but done by using from import statement. From import statement, the syntax is from, we have to specify the module name. From that particular module, we are importing a particular attribute, that is a function or a class or a variable. So that is, for example, if we are specifying 2 functions, so import add comma subtraction. So let's see with a small example. So this is the calc.py that we already know, previously we discussed. So in that calc.py, we have 3 functionalities: addition, subtraction, and multiplication. So in that calc.py, now I would like to use only the addition functionality. So for that particular addition, we need to give 2 values, that is, let it be 2 values, a comma b. Enter the first number, and that is stored in a variable called a, and let it be 5. I am asking the user to enter another second value, and that is being stored in b, and let it be 7. I am printing the sum value. Sum is equal to add of a comma b. Add of a comma b. So a, b are the argument that is been passed, but from where we have to execute this add function? That add function is defined in calc. So from calc, import add function. Import add function. So here only addition functionality will be imported from the calc.py file. Here only one add function will be imported from the calc function. Here you will be getting another doubt. So that is been given in the note point, that when we because here I did not specify any module name here. The print function, that is sum is equal to add of a comma b. Add of a comma b. In the previous slide, I have mentioned the module name, that is calc dot add of a comma b. So if we are using from keyword, we need not to specify the module name. There is a note point here. If we are using from keyword, because see here, the darker portion, here I am not using any module name with the functionality, because whenever we would like to use a from keyword, there is no need to use module name. So we can directly specify the function name. Directly we can access the function name. So some note points here. So whenever we are using, when to use from import statement and when not to use. So always it is very best way, that is using from import statement. Why? Because for example, if you want to use only one functionality from a particular module, you will be importing only that particular module. But using import statement, you will be including all the functionalities with our current application. So it is better to use from import statement, because if we know whatever the attribute that we are using, that is in advance. ఎప్పుడైతే మనకి ఆ పర్టికులర్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ మనకు అడ్వాన్స్ గా తెలుసో, ఆ పర్టికులర్ మాడ్యూల్ నుంచి మనం డైరెక్ట్ గా ఆ పర్టికులర్ ఫంక్షన్ మాత్రమే మనం యూజ్ చేసుకునేటట్టు తెలిస్తే చాలండి. ఒకవేళ మనకి అది తెలియకపోతే ఎంటైర్ మాడ్యూల్ ఎప్పుడైతే మనం ఇంక్లూడ్ చేస్తున్నామో, చేసినప్పుడల్లా మొత్తం ఫైల్ అంతా ఇందులోకి లోడ్ అవుతుందండి. సో దెర్ ఈస్ కోడ్ ఇన్సఫిషియెంట్, కోడ్ ఎక్కువగా ఇంక్లూడ్ అవుతూ ఉంటుంది. అందుకనే ఫ్రమ్ కీవర్డ్ వాడడం, ఫ్రమ్ ఇంపోర్ట్ స్టేట్మెంట్ వాడడం అనేది బెటర్. అండ్ ద సెకండ్ వన్ ఈస్ it does not let our code to be heavier. Whenever you are using import statement, it makes all the functionality to be included, but whenever we are using it from import statement, it is including only the particular functionality. So for example, if we want to include entire functionalities, we can also use by using star. That is an example, from module import star, where star is nothing but all, include all functionalities. Star indicates that it is including all the attributes from a module, all the attributes from a modules. So we'll see. I think we are aware of this module. So previously I have taught only the filter and map using lambda functions. I left the reduce, so but now I am using that reduce function here. So usage of lambda function with reduce. So we'll see that one why. So reduce function which accepts a function and a sequence similar, which is similar to filter and map, but here in the name itself it tells that it reduces the given list of items or the given iterable to a single value, How? So the first thing is, the function is called with the first two items from the given sequence, and the result of that particular two items will be returned back. And second, the function is called again and again, and the next value in the sequence will be evaluated, and that particular value will be returned, and this process will be continued until the end of the sequence. So how it is being reduced as a single value, we'll see with the syntax. So reduce function comma iterable, it is similar to map and filter. So reduce, in the name itself it tells that reduction, it reduces. What it reduces, we'll see. Here one argument is function, which is used to run for each item in the iterable, and iterable is nothing but a sequence, that is a collection which is to be reduced. So we'll see with an example. So using the lambda function with reduce built-in method. So how? Here the function is used as an lambda function. Here the function is used as a lambda function, and the iterable as list, tuples, dictionaries, whatever we need, we can use that as a iterable. So in Python 2, reduce was a built-in function. But in Python 3, this built-in function is being moved to the function tools module. This built-in function, that is reduce, is moved to function tools module. So if we would like to use a reduce function, so first thing we have to do is we have to import that particular reduce function from the function tools module. So we have to use an import statement in order to use the reduce function. So we'll see how to use the lambda function with reduce function. So I'm taking a list of items, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. which is to be reduced. So printing the list data that has been printed. So I am using the reduce function, reduce, and I'm passing two arguments, reduce function comma list. So one argument is reduce function, which is a lambda function that I have to define. So define like this. Here from the list, from the argument 2, that is list, the reduce function will take two arguments, that is x comma y. It is x comma y, and that particular x comma y is being summed in the lambda function. Summed in the lambda function. This one. The reduce function takes two items from the list. The first two items, that is 1 comma 2, and that 1 comma 2, that is x comma y, that is summed 1 plus 2, and that 3 value will be returned. And again the next two value, that is 3 comma 4, will be taken. That is 3 value will be taken, because already one return value will be there, 1 plus 2, that is 3. Again the 3 value is been taken, 3 plus 3, that is 6. Again the next item will be taken, that is 4. So 6 plus 4, 10. Again the function is called, again the 10 plus 5 is been taken, and the last return value will be returned to a variable called a value. One second. So I already told you that this reduce function is moved towards the in Python 3, it is moved to the function tools module. So whenever we are using reduce function, we have to import that reduce function from function tools. So here I'm using a from keyword, that is from function tools, import reduce function. Only the reduce function is been imported from function tools to this lambda function. So the resultant value, that is the 15 value, will be stored in a variable called value, and that value will be printed, that is 15. So I think you are clear with this. Now we'll see with the general function, normal general function. Previously we have treated that particular function argument as lambda function, but now we are treating that particular function as general function. We'll see what it is. So with an example. So for the same example, I'm defining a list with 1 2 3 4 5, and the list data is being printed. So I'm using reduce function, and that particular reduce function I am passing two argument, that is do sum, which is a function, and the list. So now I have to define do sum. So define do sum. So do sum accepts two arguments, that is x comma y from the list. So it is returning x plus y. So that x plus y will be returned, because here reduce function is defined in function tools. So we are importing only the reduce function from the import from the function tools, and the total value is returned to a variable called value, and we are printing that reduced single value, that is 15 again. This is how we use this reduce function with the general functions. Previously we taught with the lambda function, but now here we are using it with a general function. So we'll go with the next one, that is Python packages. Students, do you have any doubts in the previous topic? Python package is very small topic. So in that we have only three topics, that is introduction to PIP, the packages, installing packages via PIP, and using Python packages. How? So we'll go with introduction to PIP. Where PIP, what is PIP? So PIP is nothing but a standard package manager for Python packages. PIP is the standard package manager for Python packages or modules. So what is the standard package manager? It is a tool that allows you to install or manage it. For example, the functionality that what we are already having in our Python libraries, if that is not been sufficient, you will be asked to install another libraries directly by using PIP. So PIP is a tool that allows you to install and manage additional libraries which are not part of the Python standard library. ఆల్రెడీ ఉన్న లైబ్రరీలోకి అవి పార్ట్గా లేవు కాబట్టి మనకి అడిషనల్ గా కావాలనుకొని అవి మనం డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకొని యూస్ చేసుకుంటామండి. సో హౌ ఇట్ ఈస్ బీన్ యూస్డ్, హౌ ఇట్ ఈస్ బీన్ గివెన్. సో దిస్ standard package manager previously in the current versions like 3.4, Python 3 and 2.7.9, and for Python 2 it is used by many Python projects which is been included directly, but previous Python versions it is not been included. So we have to include that. How to include is a question. So we have a command called, so this is the command. So in order to know the PIP version, see the last one. So C:/ uses all these things are our path. In that we are using only the PIP version, because what is the current PIP version that we are using in this particular Python that is being seen in this here. So we'll check what is my current PIP version, that will be checked. So we'll see an example. So this is my command prompt. So here I'm giving the PIP version name. So the command is PIP space hyphen and version. So this command is used to know the version of PIP that what we have installed in our Python packages. So I am using the current version, that is 3.8 Python. So that is the version of my PIP. See, for example, we would like to know the packages that whatever the packages that are installed in our Python. So how to know those packages that are available? That is, in order to know the packages that what are installed in our system, so we have to list those packages. We can list those packages by using the list command, that is PIP list. So with this PIP list command, we can able to find out the packages that what are installed in our Python version, in our Python 3.8 version. So see the command is been used like this, PIP list. So I'm listing the packages. So my current version of PIP is 19.2.3, and the another package we are already been installed, that is setup tools, which the current version is 41.2.0. So the PIP list command here, it is throwing a warning. So that is, you are using PIP version that is 19.2.3, but currently the available version is 20.1. So you can upgrade. So there is a possibility to upgrade our PIP version by using this command, which is pointing to this. So how to upgrade? How to upgrade? So the command is like this. So Python space hyphen m space pip space install space hyphen upgrade pip. So the same is been command is been given. So it is collecting the pip information from the internet. So already the Python previous version, that is 19.2.3, has been installed in our Python packages. So that particular Python package have been uninstalling, and it is installing the current version, that is 20.1, which is successfully installed. So see, again I'm using the pip list command. So the updated pip 20.1 is been given, but previously it is 19.2.3. So we can also upgrade the current versions, current package versions that what are available in our Python packages by using this particular command. So we'll go with how to install these packages via PIP. So it is very easy to install by using command line interface. So how we'll see with an command, that is PIP install package name, where PIP is a keyword and install is also a keyword, and package name, whatever the package that we need to install, that particular package name is given. So we'll see with an example. So for example, I would like to install OS package, OS-win package, which is not available in my Python. So pip in space install space OS win. So it has been successfully installing. See, downloading OS_win. So like that, it will be showing. So each and everything will be downloaded. So we'll see how it is used. So how these Python packages are being used. So we have downloaded the Python packages which are required. So how to use these Python packages? This can be done by using the import statement. This can be used by using import statement. So we have downloaded the packages that are related to OS. So that particular OS package are being used by using import statement. So we'll see an example. So using Python OS module. So what does the OS module contains? So for example, if you want to create a folder, or if you want to remove a directory, or if you want to get the data of a particular folder data, or if you would like to rename a particular folder name, or if you want to know any current working directory, so we have to make sure that OS module has to be installed in our Python. So see, some of the functions that we use in OS modules are os.listdir. So this function is used to list the directories in our OS. And the second function is os.mkdir. mkdir, make directory. That is, if you would like to create a directory, so we have to use this function. So if you want to rename with a new name for a old file name, so we have to use rename function. If you would like to know the current working directory path, get cwd, which is used to get the current working directory. So that is been known by using this function. So we'll see with a small example. So see here. Here I'm importing OS. If this is not done, the functions that are related to OS module will not be work. So importing OS module in Python shell. I'm using Python shell. So here I am creating a folder name with a name called Narayana. So os.mkdir, and I have specified a name, file name called Narayana. So that is, so in order to know whether it is been created or not, so we have to list the directories in the OS. So for that we are using os.list dir. So we are specifying each and every file. So for that we are passing an argument as dot list dir. This dot is an operator which is used as all, all the directories from a particular OS will be displayed. So it displays the directory list. So here the whatever the directory that I have created will be listed in the directory list. So there is a possibility route to rename a directory. So now I would like to rename the Narayana folder with V Narayana. So this is nothing but renaming a directory, and I'm, in order to know whether the renaming is been done or not, so I am listing the directories in the Python. So the given name Narayana is been changed to V Narayana. So if you would like to know the current working directory, we are able to use os.getcwd, so which is nothing but getting current working directory. So the below statement will be observed, that is Python 38-32 is my current working directory. So students, any queries? So that's all with that.